Robots, flying cars, artificial intelligence, the world of 2050 has every chance to make these things common for every inhabitant of the planet Earth. An average person's life will change dramatically in just a couple of dozen years. If you think that conveniences such as cleaning robots or the internet built into our heads still have a long way to go, then you're wrong. The history of Homo sapiens is about 200,000 years old, while electricity was discovered by mankind less than 2,000 years ago. The first car was patented in 1886, and the internet began to develop at the end of last century. You see a trend? At the beginning of its existence, humanity developed very slowly, and now the process has been going on so fast, it's difficult to realize the whole scale of rearrangements. It becomes almost impossible to keep track of all scientific discoveries and technological innovations, as they happen literally every day. But we would like to focus on how the life of an average citizen in the city will look like in the year 2050. Spoiler, it'll be completely different like today. First, there will be almost car-free streets. The remaining vehicles will use electric energy. Many roads will shift underground. In fact, similar projects already exist. Elon Musk's The Boring Company is developing tunnels for cars to move under the city. This is meant to reduce road traffic, and if the project gains success, the whole network of underground roads will be built in different cities. Yep, it's already happening. An alternative to underground roads lies in the air. For now, flying cars seem just a ghost of the future in our perspective, but let's come back to discuss the matter in 5 years' time. Maybe Futurama world technologies are much closer than we think they are. Land transportation will not only become underground or lifted up in the air, it'll simply become less usable. Here, we also would like to refer to Elon Musk's project called Hyperloop. These high-speed trains will be able to reach speeds of more than 1,000 kilometers an hour, making cars unnecessary for many citizens. A Hyperloop journey from London to Paris will take less than 30 minutes, while the same distance can be covered by car in at least 6 hours. And that's how it goes. Believe it or not, but life will still be easier for people still forced to continue using cars on a permanent basis. First, there will be no traffic jams. And second, cars will become self-driving, capable of moving without driver's help. You've probably seen or heard of Tesla or other vehicles, which have already embedded an autopilot system. Thus, one might find it logical to expect the technology to evolve further on. Since the main task of metropolises is to reduce people's time spent on the road, the city's structure will undergo almost inevitable reshapes too. We'll probably see the implementation of the 15-minute city idea. Work, food, education, leisure, medical facilities, everywhere can be reached within 15 minutes. Such reformatting could lead to large cities eventually becoming like many small villages, each of which will have its own community and unique character. Sure, it may also bring us to various unusual ways of delivering goods. For instance, at this very moment in Japan, robots are engaged in that sort of work. Many well-known companies have tested and continue to test drone delivery. And although at present it has not turned into something massive, the systems will certainly replace people in the near future. The combination of delivery chores with Hyperloop sounds quite obvious to consider, isn't it? Besides, people may be able to order anything they want just by sheer force of will. We're talking about chips implanted in the human brain and connected to the nervous system. Simply put, it's access to the internet in your head. The mentioned concept might sound like a fantasy if it weren't for the real research that's already being done. We're at the beginning of neuroscience development. Studies of electrical impulses' effect on the brain were conducted on animals, in particular pigs and monkeys. Luckily, small steps have been made in the direction of working with people. On the internet, you can find footage of someone using chips to enter text, use the internet, and even play games. The leading contributor in this field is the Neuralink company of the already mentioned Elon Musk. Who would have guessed? Neuralink's priority is to create a brain chip interface that can be implanted right in the skull. The chip could eventually help disabled patients move and communicate once again, as well as, we dare say, restore sight. We're confident there are no physical limitations to restoring full-body functionality, Musk said. As soon as scientists solve the issue of people's health, the services will definitely become available to the general public and anyone willing to install the internet in their head, cementing a new step towards improving the life of mankind. Okay, neuroscience makes a rather complex field that is only at the initial stages of development, so no guarantees for it to work in 25 years. But the chances are still there. Elon Musk has announced plans to test his chips on humans this year. Obviously, we want to be extremely careful and certain that it'll work well before putting a device in a human, but we're submitted, I think, most of our paperwork to the FDA, he said. For reference, the FDA is the U.S. government agency that must either approve or deny Neuralink's request to test the technology on humans. Right now, the decision is still not approved, but the probability of the green light given as a result is quite high. Let's get back to cities of the future. In the 2050s, they will be much greener than they are now, not only to boost health, but also to fight against global warming. Basically, getting rid of cars will also be an essential part of this battle. Some can assume that states will not only build parks, recreation areas, and increase the amount of flora in living areas, but also encourage residents to do so. We would get paid for a large amount of greenery near homes, or say, for creating suitable conditions for animals or birds. If this seems too unrealistic to you, how about a real-life example from China? This is Forest City, Luzhou in China. Its name speaks for itself. Created to fight air pollution, a total of 40,000 trees and more than 1 million other plants are planned for every 30,000 city residents. Similar experience is likely to be adopted all over the world. Along with the greening of cities always comes the issue with sources of energy. No doubt, we should aim for the metropolises of 2050 to have fully renewable energy, less oil and gas, more solar panels, wind energy, and so on. Separately, there's a question about waste processing. With the right approach, waste should become a source of energy or secondary materials. World population is growing year by year. Back in 1950, we had only 2.5 billion people living on the planet. Now we have 8 billion. In 2050, this number will grow to about 10 billion. Therefore, humanity not only builds and alters existing cities, but also constructs new ones. We already mentioned Forest City in China in this video, though there are many other amazing projects like Echo Atlantic City, Acon City, The Line, The Floating City. Each of them offers unique solutions for future people's lives. Hit the like button under this video if you'd enjoy living in one of these newly minted cities one day. The concept of the brand new future city mainly depends on its location. Let's say Maldives' floating city will be built on water. The Line will have its own ecosystem as it passes through the hot desert. The Acon City is set to become a real-life Wakanda, as singer Akon plans to build something similar in his native Senegal. The matter is that we will have many different approaches and options for building the cities of the future, with each existing project possibly borrowing the best and most suitable features for its region. Needless to say, predictions of how we're going to live in the future have failed too often. But we at least tried to imagine something based on modern trends and latest scientific achievements. Come back to this video in 2050 for a laugh. Or not. Of course, share your ideas about what life in cities will be like in 2050 and whether you agree with our theories in the comments below. Also, check out other videos from the channel that you see now on your screens.